Let us embark on a journey of rediscovery and a journey of mastery. There is an understanding in the depths of humanity that the stars govern many aspects of life. There is a notion in humanity of sending power to that which they consider to be above or higher than them. The vast majority are blinded by this misunderstanding. It is highly possible that they will be swept away by the celestial changing weather. If one, however, chooses to find themselves above this, they are able to see how deep and how far the pendulum truly swings. So how much power does the astrology of today truly govern in your life? From our perspective, it is a matter of choice. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am so excited to share with you that I will be leaving for Egypt next week. I cannot believe it. It feels like it has snuck up on me and come so quickly. I will be there until the beginning of May, and throughout that time, we have the opportunity, the group that I am going with, to see 11, actually a little bit more than that now, different sacred sites, including temples and a variety of pyramids. So we have been very blessed to be taken on this adventure and led by a woman who has been studying Egyptology for over 10 years and is in the process of completing a book on it, actually. And it is her book and her teachings and her studies have been around understanding what these different ancient sites and sacred spaces have to teach us today, and how there are energies still imbued in the matrices of those places. So through her own understanding and her own way of connecting with those energies, she will guide us and lead us to also connecting with them. I am so honored to be included in this trip. I am very excited and maybe also slightly nervous as to what might come through, what might happen while we're there, and just curious, really, very open about what might unfold while I'm in those places, because I have really been picking up on a lot of energies, so it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds for me while I'm there. While I am there, I am not able to guarantee how many videos will be coming out, simply because of the timing and also just logistics of Wi-Fi access. I'm not entirely sure, but we will do our best. My team and I will do our best to get out what we can. If you would like to follow along with my experience, I will be sending a lot of Instagram stories, posting a lot of Instagram stories and various pictures, and just updates on my Instagram. So if you like to follow me, you can at Alunia Noel, and it would be great just to see what you have to think, especially if you've been there before. You're just hear your own experiences with some of the places that we will be traveling to. So I would love to connect with you in that way if you would like to. This current video that you are about to see, this transmission was slightly unexpected. I tuned in of a day ago, and the three guides shared that they had a message that they wanted to give around the future of astrology. I initially interpreted that as wanting to essentially have a conversation with me, and they said, no, it's for everyone. So when I sat down today, that is what they wanted to bring through. And my take on it, I have not actually been able to take in the full transmission myself since it was recorded, but my take is that there is this understanding of how we relate to astrology and kind of a reclamation of power that comes from our relationship to astrology. That was the gist of what I understood previously to sitting down. So it will be very interesting to see what unfolds in the listening of it. It is a feeling, though, of empowerment when I listened to this. It feels like actually a remembering for me of something that I had forgotten, and I'm still integrating from the transmission. So that's really the most that I can say, but it feels like a remembering of what astrology really is and how astrology can be used. So that is very interesting. I'm actually quite delighted that this has come through at this time, just to understand more deeply the nature of astrology, and in my own life as well, how I can use it. So I hope that you find it helpful and interesting as well. I would love to hear what you have to think down below, especially you astrologers, as I am not an astrologer, but I would love to hear what you think, how this lands for you. So enjoy. Let us embark on a journey of rediscovery and a journey of mastery. This is the orientation that we choose to take when we look at the research, when we look at life for humanity from the perspective of astrology. There are astrological schools of thought that have governed and assisted humanity for centuries and eons even. What we are wanting to discuss and share with you is the reemergence of these as tools rather than as forms of divination or fortune telling as they have been used for so long with humanity. There is an understanding in the depths of humanity that the stars govern many aspects of life, not only for the individual, but also for the collective. This is a higher consciousness in humanity to understand that the consciousness of the beings in the celestial spheres and realms do, in fact, impact your lives, both individually as well as collectively, as we have said. The celestial bodies that inhabit your realms above, they influence humanity's perspectives, the evolution that humanity has taken, the paths that humanity has laid before them, as well as offering insights, ideas, and the concepts that you hold as muses often come from the consciousness of the celestial spheres. Those beings who are both stars and also those who are planets in your solar system. They have had many implications as well as influences on humanity. They have influenced various inventions. They have instructed people on how to accomplish various tasks that previously seemed daunting or even impossible, such as understanding how to connect with different energies around you, how to connect with energies in the body through forms of healing. These have come from stars and the consciousnesses that lie in them, and also from the star beings that inhabit those stars or planetary bodies. You see, they are one and the same, and we are unable to fully differentiate between the star beings that inhabit those spaces and the stars themselves. We will simply refer to them as celestial bodies, both for simplicity, but also in our form and our mission of being highly accurate as we can be when speaking to you from a higher realm that is, for most, very difficult to understand at this time in humanity's consciousness. What we wish to share is the evolution of astrology. Humanity is at a point in which many aspects of what is considered to be part of spiritual lives are evolving and are on the cusp of shifting into something new. This may seem almost too soon for some of you, as there are only so many that have finally begun to acknowledge various aspects of spiritual life, and now you are hearing that they are going to shift. We understand this may seem disorienting, but do understand that this is part of humanity's evolution and has been the path that humanity has taken for some time. It tends to be that just when something is beginning to settle, there is a swift change with the blowing of a new wind. The earth turns and something new arises for humanity. It is always in an effort and in the process of evolutionary drives and taking humanity ever closer to that which is unified consciousness. Astrology is one such tool, and as many of you who are now well-versed or who have previously been well-versed in the Hermetic wisdom understand that astrology is a system of science, and it does not make a difference whether you speak of the Vedic astrology system or what is considered to be the Western system of astrology. They both hold their places in humanity's evolution. They both hold their places in the consciousness of humanity, and they have both served and acted as tools and guides and, again, divinatory tellings of what will occur within humanity, both individually and collectively. Astrology has been understood so far as the telling of one's experience on Earth. There are various perspectives that one can take with the different systems of astrology. We wish not to delve too deeply into these differences, as they will bring about more confusion and discussion on points that are not as important from our perspective. We wish to discuss astrology as a whole collective body of work, and we will refer to astrology as a whole, but understand that we are referring to all systems of astrology, as well as the divinatory practices using stars as a whole, many which these schools of thoughts and practices have been lost in time. Some of them are returning to various beings' consciousnesses at this time on the planet, but we wish to refer to astrology simply as the understanding of stars' consciousness, celestial bodies' consciousness, and the effects that they have on humanity and the earth as a whole. Astrology has been used and understood as a tool for seeing into a being's life. When they are born, there are various aspects in the celestial spheres that impact the being. These tell of obstacles that the being may encounter. These tell often of relationships that the being has, both on Earth and sometimes in previous incarnations. There is often a description that is usually quite accurate of the being's personality and egoic expression in this lifetime. This can be quite helpful, as the being is able to see themselves through the eyes of another. There is a further expression in astrology of the soul of the being. This is usually when getting into very deep forms of astrology to look at the aspects that are typically hidden or shadowed. This may include, in a literal sense, the shadowed aspects of astrology, such as the shadowed aspects of planets, of moons, and moons of planets, as well as various asteroids and comets that occur in the sky. Astrology is a very complex science, and as a science, it is important to understand for the individual as well as the collective because of the details that can come through around the current circumstances that are unfolding in a person's life or in the collective's life. We will look at one very well-known transit that occurs in a being's life, specifically as it relates to astrology. The Saturn's return. This is the time when Saturn is in the same place as it was when the human was born. It is returning to this place, and it enters into a sign, has certain degrees, and is in certain alignments or aspects with various planets or other celestial bodies, as we have previously mentioned. This understanding of where Saturn is tells a direct relationship of what the human may be experiencing in their life. And as humans are, ultimately, reflections and fractal expressions of the same being and the same source, there are many patterns that can be noticed and observed in these Saturn's returns. Most notably that of hardship, if one has not been able to face various shadow aspects, particularly as they relate to the place or aspects of Saturn to other planets and celestial spheres in the being's chart. So, this brings us to the collective consciousness and the collective unfoldment and understanding of patterns that are occurring worldwide. It is very helpful, and in fact, it is even necessary in some ways to see what is happening globally and collectively through the eyes and the realm of astrology. On an individual level, there is a sense that can occur within humanity, and it has been here for a very long time. The origins of this are speculative throughout humanity, and we wish not to dive into this topic at this current time, but know that we will one day. There is a notion in humanity of giving power away, of sending power to that which they consider to be above or higher than them. This misunderstanding of the dimensions that surround humanity and the dimensions that some consider to be, quote, higher than the current dimension that humanity is in, is simply that. It is a misunderstanding. It is a lack of perspective on the part of the human. And this does not affect all humans, but the vast majority are blinded by this notion and this misunderstanding of dimensional space and dimensionality as a whole. Astrology has been somewhat misunderstood, and the same amount of power has been given away to the planets and to the stars that is, in a way, unhelpful for humanity at various times. There is not a need to consistently seek planetary guidance to determine what one does with their day in every waking moment. This removes the option and the ability for every human to be a co-creator in their life. Rather than seeing the planets, their placements, the aspects and relationships that they have with the earth and with the collective and with, again, the individual, there is too much power being given and not enough seeing that these are merely guides, these are tools to better help and understand what one may be experiencing. However, it is not necessary to go through every shifting tide that occurs through the celestial realms. There are some, we will say, that are unavoidable. This is again, too detailed of a topic to enter into right at this time, but we will expand upon it later. There are experiences that some humans must go through. There are experiences that are there for the shaping and development of the human soul, and we say human soul as in the individual, but also the collectives of human soul. Therefore, there are shapings. There are spaces in which humans are brought into, and it is not by choice in terms of the individual's consciousness, but it is a choice in terms of the soul's consciousness and the evolution thereof. There are always and will always be shifting celestial events and times of understanding the celestial weather more accurately in order to determine what is taking place. This is often if a being is in what we will call a more sensitive or vulnerable state of being. If one finds themselves in a very open, receptive state, it is highly possible and even likely that they will be swept away or deeply affected by the celestial changing weather, individually and again collectively. If one, however, chooses to find themselves in a place that is above this, in which they can see not only their own lives, but even the perspective of being above the cosmos, they are able to see how deep and how far the pendulum truly swings. This pendulum of polarity, the extremes that take place. There is a way to rise above the aspects and the effects of the celestial realms in such a way that you are able to understand yourself and the choices that you make, not from the perspective of controlling or altering the experiences or the effects of the celestial bodies in any way, but rather using the energies in a way that is filling for you, that uplifts you, and that even propels you to certain spaces and ways of being. There are, of course, also times when the energy is an invitation to go within, to go even to the darkest depths of your underworld. This is the true understanding and science of astrology. It is not meant to be one in which you give your power away. This is what we are wanting to help and bring your attention to. There is not a space to give your power away anymore. This is what humanity is moving away from. This is part of what has brought us here at this time. The giving away of power must be turned off in humanity. The return and the bringing in of awareness to that which is truly your power, which lies within yourself. That is the phase of evolution that humanity must enter into and must turn on, so to speak, the power that is within. And so, understanding this great science of astrology from the perspective of a co-creator and, in fact, a collaborator with, is the next place for humanity to understand. Do not allow yourself to give your power to astrology, to throw up your hands and say, "This is simply it today," but rather acknowledge what is the celestial weather and decide how you are going to move about it. There are many beings currently who have this new understanding and who are taking this perspective on and are choosing to share it and teach it to others. There are still some yet, of course, who have yet to catch up. And when humanity comes more mainstream with astrology, this concept must be understood. It is not one to give your power away to. It is one to collaborate with. This deepening understanding of collaboration with, of being in power with and beside rather than over, is part of the collective unfoldment and evolution of consciousness as a whole, not only on Earth, but again across the entire cosmos, as what takes place here does affect the rest of the cosmos. It is an influence that will take place far and wide. We, of course, our perspective is focused here on Earth and humanity at this time, as this is our great love and mission. It is underway, this change taking place, and we wish to further the change by sharing this message with you. So, what we will leave you with, when you look at your astrological charts, when you choose to see what is happening astrologically or in the celestial realms, choose to see it simply as an energy, something that can be worked with, something that can be understood, something that can even be held hands with and be a guide while you walk your path. It is a way in which you are able to learn of obstacles or potential places to maneuver around, but it is not one in which you should be cowering under. There are many who give their power away if they learn that they have certain troubling aspects in their chart. This is what we are wishing to share to move away from. See these instead as soul choices, as ways that you have chosen to come into this earth with the fullest expression of your soul able to come online. Your soul has come in with precisely the aspects, both in an astrological sense as well as an energetic sense, that it is meant to in order for you to fully align with the greatest level of evolution possible and available to you in this lifetime. We will leave you with a question. Your parallel lives, which some of you refer to as past lives, also have had astrological influences. What of their birth charts? What of the astrological influences that are still affecting them as they are still present in this field with you? There is never a mention of what could have been happening at a time previous to this incarnation, and yet you are still influenced by them. So how much power does the astrology of today truly govern in your life? From our perspective, it is a matter of choice, as are all aspects of living in this current world. Our transmission is complete. We thank you. As always, we are with you in this raising of consciousness, with heart, with higher awareness to all. My energy stays with me. Your energy stays with you. Thank you very much, as always, for your support of this work. Just a reminder, I will be sharing all of the updates of my upcoming trip, my initiatic pilgrimage to Egypt. I will be leaving next week, and I am so looking forward to sharing them with you. You can follow me on my Instagram, Alunya Noel, and see all of the updates, all of the beauty. That is really where I will be posting the most while I am there, and I look forward to sharing it with you. May you remember your magic today.